Should I do it backwards? Backwards? Backwards like this? Forward? No. Look like a damn cadet. Okay. Oh, let's get this started. God damn it. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today is yet another draft recap. I hope I'm not annoying you guys. Listen, okay, let me explain. The reason why we're doing so many draft leagues, I think I may have explained it before, but we need to test as many of these Pokemon as we can before we really get some serious stuff and go Wi-Fi. We have a couple Wi-Fi leagues coming up soon. We have the IBA and we have the APA Academy. There may be a couple more. We'll see. I've been in talks with a couple commissioners, but we'll see if I'm able to squeeze those in. So in turn, we have 3 leagues: the APA Classic, the UPO, and the NCP, which you'll see today. And this is the testing phase to find out which mons are beast, which mons are trash, which mons are my favorite, which mons are low-key, under the radar, really good. So, with that all being said, today we're going to be going over the NCP Stratus Showdown, Pokemon Showdown, draft analysis of my team that I drafted for this league. So, I'm super excited because this draft is actually really, really good. I came out with a really great position towards the beginning of the draft, so I was able to get the Pokemon that I really, really wanted to try. And so, let's get right into it. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Daniel. I go by Grandmaster D-Ray. Please do me a big favor, hit the thumbs up button if you guys are excited for the NCP. And also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do me the big favor and subscribe right now. Hit the little red button, hit the bell button so you guys get the post notifications whenever I post a new video. And with all that being said, let's get right into the video. I tried my best to make the APA Classic, the UPO, and the NCP very variety based. I didn't repeat any Pokemon, so this is going to be great. The Showdown leagues, right? All 3 of them don't have any intertwining Pokemon, which is great. That was the goal, and I still wanted to have synergy amongst the team. So I like to pride myself in drafts. I think I do a pretty good job, so hopefully you guys agree with me. Leave a comment down below if you guys disagree and think I'm trash. If this is your first time here, hi, hello, how's it going? My name's Daniel, aka Grandmaster D-Ray. So, I do draft content with Pokemon. Grown-ass man playing Pokemon. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Today, we're going through the NCP. My position in the draft was pretty high. I believe it was 3rd. 3rd or 2nd? 3rd. It was 3rd. So, I was able to get the Pokemon that I really wanted to get. What Pokemon was that? Dragapult. Pult was the first Pokemon that I picked. I'm very excited to use this thing. This is the pseudo-legendary of the generation. It's Ghost and Dragon typing. This thing is stupid fast. It's like stupid fast. I believe it's base 143. Let me double check for you guys. So we're gonna go here, type in Dragapult. I want to say it's 143 base speed. Dragapult. And why is that really good? Because, guys, if you have a really fast Pokemon, you really don't have to invest that much in speed in order to outspeed the entire team of your opponent. Thus, you can invest in HP, thus you can invest in more attack, bulk, all that fun stuff. So, this thing is based 142 speed. That's stupid. It gets the Clear Body ability, the Infiltrator ability, so you cannot use Sub against this thing, and Curse Body in case I want to come in, possibly disable a move, depending on the situation, that could be clutched. So, Dragapult speaks for itself. This mon is really, really good. It gets an exclusive move in Dragon Darts, which is a double hitting move, so I can break Focus Sashes in case the mon does have Focus Sash. So it also is pretty mediocre on the speed special attack stat, but it gets more coverage on the special side. It doesn't get as much coverage on the physical side. That's kind of a problem, but besides that, this is a pretty good Pokemon. Do I think it's ban worthy? No. I think that it's number 1 on Smogon right now for a reason, but I do not think that the metagame will prove this thing to be OP to the point where it gets in Ubers, but who am I to know? I'm not on the council. So, Dragapult, first mon we got. Next mon that we got was Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl was really, really good pairing up with Dragapult. Grimmsnarl is a dragon, Fairy and Dark type to pair really well with Dragapult, because Dragapult is a Dragon Ghost type. The Dark typing of Grimmsnarl will help recover with the Ghost and the Dark issues, and also it is immune to other Dragon type attacks, so that's really, really great. Unfortunately, it does still have the Fairy Resist and the Fairy Weakness, so Dragapult and Grimmsnarl are both going to be sharing that, which is going to be kind of a problem, but you know, we can patch that up a little bit later. So these two pair very well together. This thing gets Prankster, dual screens, so that could be clutch. It gets Thunder Wave, Prankster Thunder Wave, Prankster Bulk Up. This thing is super bulky on the HP side with 95 base HP, 120 attack, 95 special attack, 65 in defense, 75 in speed def, which is pretty good, and an average mediocre 60 base speed. Final thoughts on this thing. I think this thing's great. It's an awesome pairing with Dragapult. I believe that screens are going to be clutch this season, so this thing's going to do a whole lot of shenanigans. A lot of people are starting to come up with Grimmsnarl sets that are coming pretty clutch, so I'm definitely going to be using those. So I think that this mon fits really well with what I'm trying to synergize. Next mon that we have on the team is going to be Jirachi. We're doing Pokemon in this league that are post-home. Home is the service of which you can transfer Pokemon from the past games into Generation 8, thus making Jirachi available. I had to snag this up. This is going to complete my Dragon Fairy Steel Core. The Fantasy Core is complete. Sorry if I'm stumbling my words, guys. I have a lot of energy. I drink a lot of coffee, drink a lot of tea, so I'm on one right now. So Jirachi is a steel psychic type. Base 100s across the board. Everybody knows what Jirachi does. It's very versatile. So, sorry guys, the mailman's here, so the dogs are probably gonna start barking, so I apologize if you can hear that. So Jirachi is gonna patch up a lot of holes that we've got. Grimmsnarl is gonna cover it with its Ghost and Dark type weaknesses, which is gonna be clutch. Grimmsnarl is coming to be the glue defensively to both Dragapult and to Jirachi, so I think that's gonna be great. I have two mons that can hit Thunder Wave, so I can go with some para-flinching shenanigans with Iron Head and Serene Grace, so that's always going to be great. Jirachi is a needs no explanation. It's a mon that needs no explanation. Wow, I'm not speaking English today. Next mon of the squad we have is Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee I took in the 4th round. Why? Because this thing is a very good rapid spinner. Rapid Spin was buffed this generation, as everybody probably knows. It's gotten buffed to 50 base power, and it also increases your speed by 1. So with this thing, with 120 base attack, it's going to be crazy as a sweeper, as a cleaner. If I can get up a Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards, it's not weak to rocks, so that's really, really great. Obviously, it's not immune to toxic spikes, but you know, it's not weak to rocks, so it's a good spinner. This thing gets Reckless and High Jump Kick. A Reckless boosted High Jump Kick is nothing to scoff at. That is so strong, even to a resisted hit. So, in my opinion, Hitmonlee is going to hit like a truck. It gets Knockoff, it gets Bullet Punch, it gets Mach Punch, it gets Blaze Kick for coverage. So that's going to be really, really great, in my opinion. This thing has a really, really high special defense stat. I believe, let me give you the exact special defense stat off the top of my head. I don't remember. It does get only 50 in HP, but it's 110 speed def. So this is a really good assault vest user, and pretty low-key, bulky on the special side. That's Hitmonlee. Good spinner. Next mon on the squad we have is Seismitoad. Toad is here to obviously not die to rain. This team is not going to die to rain. This got water absorb, so that's going to be really, really clutch. The water ground typing is so good. All of the water grounds are awesome. Seismitoad, Quagsire, Swampert, who's not available in the generation. Whiscash is even really, really good. Gastrodon, all these water grounds are just so, so good. So I'm really happy I was able to get Seismitoad. I did get a buff and I did get Power Whip, which is awesome. So now if I'm going against opposing Rotom Washes, which in this draft I did not draft, so therefore I don't have to really worry about that. I have to worry about Will-O-Wisp, but either way, a Will-O-Wisp, a burned Seismitoad with a Power Whip on a Rotom is still pretty strong. So that's really, really great. It can also get Swift Swim, so if there is rain, I can use that as a little niche strategy. Excuse me. Seismitoad, pretty self-explanatory, great Pokemon, great defensive glue, good Stealth Rocker, so that way Jirachi doesn't have to bring the Stealth Rock every single time, so that's going to be really great. Next one on the squad we got was Ice-Cube. Ice-Cube, this mon is low-key, pretty good. There's a lot of testing going on to see how good of a sweeper this thing actually is. No, it does not compare whatsoever to Poltergeist, but it's pretty high up there. Why? This thing gets ability. I think it's Ice Cube is what the ability's name is. Ice Cube. The ability's name, Ice Face is the ability's name. So this works kind of like Mimikyu. So shout out to my baby girl Mimikyu. This thing can take a physical attack with no HP loss, and it loses the little cube on its head, and it goes to the small little head pictured on your screen. But when that happens, there's actually goes through a form change completely. It doesn't just lose the cube, it actually gains speed. So, base stats of this thing with the cube on its head: 75 in HP, 80 in attack, 110 in defense, 65 in special attack, 90 in SPDEF, 50 in speed. So pretty bulky, right? This thing does not work on a special move, so we do have to keep that in mind. The Ice Cube thing only works for physical attacks, but once it loses that the physical attack hits the cube and it loses the cube, it changes form to a no Ice Face. Original. Now its base stats: HP is 75, attack is 80, 70 in defense, 65 in special attack, 50 in SPDEF, 130, I repeat, 130 base speed. This thing automatically becomes a sweeper. Why? Because it gets belly drum. This thing gets belly drum. So, in specific scenarios, if my opponent has a lot of physical attackers or just physical attackers, and they just so happen to be all completely weak to ice, nor do they resist ice, this thing can come in and completely clean house. Here's the scenario. Let's just say that we get towards halfway through the match. My opponent's team was worn down a little bit. His team does not resist, him or her team does not resist ice. I can bring in Ice Cube safely, hit a belly drum, take a physical attack, no HP loss, get the 130 base speed special attack, plus 6 in attack, Icicle Crash, everything's gonna die. This thing doesn't get any coverage really at all, but with Icicle Crash it pretty much covers the majority. It does get freeze dry, but it doesn't get affected by the belly drum, which makes no sense to me anyway. It does get liquidation, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt on the physical side. But really aside from that, it gets head smash, that's pretty good, but depending on how much health they have, that's a lot of recoil you could take. But this thing can be an undercover really good sweeper. I drafted it to try it. So if the situation presents itself, I'll definitely bring this thing and see if I can sweep. That's really exciting. That's Ice Cube. Next model in the squad we have is Persian. It's towards the end of the draft because I used a lot of points in the beginning of the draft, so I had to get some quality low tier picks. And I believe that Persian is really that. Persian is base, I think, 117 speed. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's very fast. It's above 115. It is 115. It's 115 base speed. Everything else is pretty mediocre. It only has 70 in attack and 65 in special attack, but it does get access to Nasty Plot and crazy coverage. It gets Power Gem, Thunderbolt, it gets water coverage and Water Pulse. I believe it gets Flamethrower. I don't think it gets Flamethrower. But the coverage on this thing is stupid. So on the special side. It also gets Technician, which in the past generations would boost Hidden Power, but unfortunately Hidden Power was removed from the game, so that's a big nerf to Persian. But I can still fake out things with Technician boosted. I can also use Foul Play to use their attack power against them, which could be pretty clutch, especially for ghost types. Physically defensive ghost types. Full Foul Play could be really clutch. It gets U-turn and pivoting. So this thing could be pretty good in specific situations. So this is here for speed control, really. Really fast taunter, so I can shut down some stall. That's why Persian's here. Speed control, shut down stall, and maybe be cheeky with some fake out or some Nasty Plot shenanigans. I've used Persian in the past in a couple speed tours and I really liked it, so I wanted to pick it up this time. Next model of the squad that we picked up was Maractus. Hold on, before you start judging. Maractus is low-key pretty good. I honestly didn't even really consider it, to be honest with you. I only considered it when a couple guys or a couple people in the Discord server were chatting about it. I never really took the time to look at it. This thing gets Storm Drain, which means that it's immune to all water type attacks, which is my secondary way to deal with rain. So that's really, really great. And it's 106 in special attack. Everything else is kind of mediocre. It's only 60 base speed, but it gets pretty good coverage, and it gets spikes, and it gets toxic spikes. Toxic spikes? Hold up. No, just spikes. Just spikes. Yeah. So it only gets spikes, which is pretty good. It's another spike user. It gets Sucker Punch, Giga Drain, Synthesis for longevity. So I think that overall, Drain Punch, which is really, really great. Overall, I think that this can be pretty good if I'm dealing with a rain team, or if my opponent has a really strong water type. That's where it can be pretty clutch. Obviously, this thing is going to be weak to ice. So typically, most water types are able to have access to Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, Icy Wind, etc. So in that regard, it can be kind of sucky, but in some situations, I think at this point in the draft, it's a good value pick for what it is, for what was available at the time. So that's why I took Maractus. So the last mon that I decided to get in round 10 to round off the team was a Manectric. In the past, I believe it was the APA Classic. It was the APA Classic. I actually drafted it, but I dropped it because I decided to go get Duraludon, and the points, the way that they worked, is I dropped Aegislash to get Duraludon, I had extra points, so I was able to get Raichu. So in the APA, I replaced Manectric with Raichu, which is for sure 100% a better mon than Manectric. But Manectric is still pretty good for the value that you get. This thing was worth 40 points, so it's at the very last pool of the draft. And it gives me Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch shenanigans, it gets Snarl. This thing could be pretty good. So this could be a good pivot. Obviously it gets Lightning Rod, so I can be immune, a secondary immunity to electric type attacks. This team isn't really all that weak to it. So yeah, it's pretty good. I realized that for some reason my slides actually glitched on me for whatever reason. So we're gonna go back here, guys, and we're gonna talk about one of the Pokemon that didn't show up. And that Pokemon is Braviary. So Braviary we picked up in round number 6. So you probably saw that on the screen already. I just realized that it glitched and then it skipped between Seismitoad and Ice-Q. So we're gonna talk about Braviary now. Braviary was going to be really, really great for the squad because it's going to give me a ground type immunity. It gives me an immunity to ghost types, which is going to be great to pair up and synergize with Dragapult, so I don't have to just fully rely on Grimmsnarl every single time. So it's immune to ghost types, like I said. It also got a really good buff. It no longer has to rely for its physical fighting type coverage to be superpower. I don't like superpower because it reduces your attack and your defense and makes you weaker. Now I got close combat, which is awesome for Braviary. It does reduce its special defense and its defense, but you can continue to sweep or poke holes in your opponent's team because you don't lose any attack power. I think that's great. It also gets Bulk Up, it gets U-Turn for pivoting. This thing gets Defog, which is great, so that's another secondary hazard control if I really need it. I don't necessarily like to use Defog all the time because it does get rid of my own hazards too, so that's why I want to rely on Hitmonlee, but I can use it just in case. So Braviary is going to be really, really great. It also gets Defiant as an ability. So Defiant, whenever a stat is reduced, it reduces attack power by 2. So if I can switch it in on Defog, I can increase my attack power, which is going to be clutch. It's not very fast, but slap a Choice Scarf on it fixes it up. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty good wall breaker slash, really good strong Pokemon depending on the situation. So that's going to be the team, guys. This is what it looks like. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Are there any holes that I could have filled? Do you like this team? Would you bring this team to a draft league? What are your thoughts? Put it down below. Please comment down below. And this is going to be the team for the NCP Stratus Pokemon Showdown this season. So again, guys, please do me a big favor, support me by hitting the subscribe button. Turn on post notifications by hitting the bell button so you get all the notifications whenever I post another video. And with that being said, I'm getting the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your day. Above all else, be nice. Peace.